So I saw Captain Marvel recently on my TV, sitting on my couch. I'll let you figure out how I watched it. And now I really want to see Black Panther because there's no fucking way Black Panther could be nearly that bad. That was probably one of the most bland movies I've ever seen. So surface level and shallow Captain Marvel is that you could spot the whole meaning of the movie probably at the 5 minute mark, maybe the 10 minute mark if you're a little slow. And that is, there's more than what meets the eye. And that's essentially the grand overarching message of the whole movie. It's very surface level, nothing much deeper than that. It's pretty laughable how simplistic the movie really is, how just by the numbers it is. Honestly, Green Lantern is better than this. I mean, I would totally watch the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie over this Captain Marvel movie. The extended cut of Green Lantern, by the way, which is a little better. I swear to God, it's a little better than this fucking movie, right? And not even the 90s nostalgia music could save Captain Marvel. And which, by the way, the movie almost made me hate Nirvana because I couldn't believe I was hearing Come As You Are by Nirvana in a certain scene in this movie. I thought it was just absolutely disgusting. I mean, if Kurt Cobain would be rolling in his grave if he saw this, if he saw his songs being used as nostalgia distractions in $100 million blockbuster film made by a corporation, I'm sure Kurt Cobain would be rolling in his grave, which sucks. Now, I'll never listen to Come As You Are again, just like Smells Like Teen Spirit. Never going to listen to those Nirvana songs again. I'll listen to the other Nirvana songs for the rest of my life. But those songs are dead to me. But, you know, they had a couple other good tracks, 90s tracks in this Captain Marvel film. But there was some other 90s music that just sucked. It was just garbage music from the 90s. But, you know, it's from the 90s, right? So somebody's going to get nostalgic about it. But, yeah, after seeing it, I want to see Black Panther. Black Panther's another Marvel movie I haven't seen. I just never got around to actually watching it, but there's just no way that movie can be as bad as this movie. There's no way. Could it really be as mediocre as Captain Marvel? Could it really be as simplistic and formulaic and surface level as this Miss Marvel movie? Like, could it really be that bad? I have to find out. I'll probably watch Black Panther sometime this week, and I'll let you know my thoughts about that, even though it's like a year after the fact, right? But yeah, I mean, what's some other horrible things about this Captain Marvel movie? The horrible CG faces. I know my video quality wasn't like a perfect 10, but I could tell when there was CG faces in this movie, and there's a lot of them. What's his name? Coulson? Agent Coulson? I don't know. I forget his name. The guy who died in the first Avengers film. He's back with a CG face and all, with his partner Samuel L. Jackson, who's a younger, two-eyed Nick Fury. And for some reason, Nick Fury is absolutely retarded in this movie. Like, he's probably the dumbest character in the whole film. And I'm just flabbergasted. I'm like, how could you destroy this character like this? I'm more intimidated by the Nick Fury in Iron Man 2 than this Nick Fury, right? The Nick Fury in Iron Man 2 is way better than this Nick Fury. Literally, the whole time Samuel Jackson's on camera, he is making a joke or he's asking really dumb questions, and he's always the most surprised one out of the whole group. Even though there's another character that we meet later on in the film that's Miss Marvel's friend, and she seems to have no problem with like going into space and, you know, dealing with the Krulls. But, you know, Samuel Jackson right next to her is freaking out like every other second and, you know, making jokes because he's obviously nervous that he has no power. And it's just so surface level and dumb. You make his character look really weak. And now when you watch the other Marvel films and you see Nick Fury, you're going to be like, that's the guy who got his eye scratched by a fucking cat. Like, that's what you're going to see from now on. So dumb. And that didn't make any sense either. When he got actually scratched by the cat, that didn't make any goddamn sense because he just learned that the cat was a monster. So then he decides to shake the cat in front of his face. Like, Dude, you want to do that with a regular cat. Why would you do it with a monster cat that you just saw eat like a bunch of people, and now you're going to shake it in front of your face? Are you out of your mind, Nick Fury? Or are you just dumb as hell? I mean, he really just comes off as dumb as fuck in this movie. Jude Law's in the movie, but he really is only in the movie at the beginning and the end. And I guess he does the best. Personally, he probably wouldn't be doing this movie if King Arthur Legend of the Sword was a success, right? If that movie got sequels, he probably would have returned in those films and he wouldn't have done a Marvel film. But that's how it works. Other films fail because Marvel exists and they take all the money. And it's pretty obvious how Captain Marvel made its money now. When you're looking at how many times they're showing it throughout the day. I looked up my theater. The theater that's closest to me has, I think, 10 screens in it, and 5 of them are playing Captain Marvel. So you do the math, If you have a movie on that many screens, on every theater, for 2 weeks straight, hell yeah, it's going to make a lot of money. Because it's the only goddamn option. It pushed Alita out of the theater. All the Oscar winner films, those are all out of the theaters, So literally the only option is a Miss Marvel movie, a Western movie, and like an Arctic survival movie, and those are the only options. So no shit, everyone went to go see this movie. It's the only options. And it's got that Marvel logo in front of it, so that's all people need. They look at their show times and they see, oh, do I want to go see a film that's getting mixed reviews and it's about Arctic survival, or should I go see a Marvel movie? They don't even know the name of the Marvel movie. They're just like, oh, it's a Marvel movie. I'm going to go see that one. And that's how most people think, and that's why it made a lot of money. And it's kind of disgusting because this movie is mediocrity at its finest. Brie Larson's face throughout the whole movie is wooden, and you would swear that she is like the worst actress you've ever seen in your life. And I haven't seen the movie where she won an Oscar, but I think it's a fluke. There's no way this actress won an Oscar. I mean, she is so lifeless in this movie and so uninteresting that when I was watching it, I was hoping to see Nick Fury be an idiot to distract me from how bad she's doing. It is just a plain bad acting performance. Can we all just admit that? It looks like she was given literally no direction, and she probably didn't get any direction because there's 3 different directors on the film, and they probably had a tough time trying to figure out what tone they wanted. And the film ends up being a very by-the-numbers, mediocre film that has a very surface-level theme. And literally everything in this movie, the Skrulls, they're not the bad guys, they're the refugees. They're trying to fight the bad guys who were the good guys at the beginning of the film, but now the good guys at the beginning of the film are bad guys. And Carol Danvers, she's just not a little girl. She's a super-powered being. That's the most powerful being in the movie. And the cat is not just a little house cat, it's a big old monster. Literally, that's what the whole movie is. It's like they're waving something in your face, telling you it's something that it isn't, only to reveal it 20 minutes later as what it actually is. It's almost like I could hear the movie saying, "Ha, I tricked you." Like that's what I hear every time one of these little twists happen in the movie that just keep reaffirming the same bland surface level theme that's in so many movies. The Iron Giant has the same theme as Captain Marvel, and the Iron Giant is 1,000 times better than this movie. And Brie Larson just had the worst expressions on her face. It was so bad. There was this scene where the Skrull, is revealing about how they're all refugees and stuff, and he's trying to convince her to have some reason and actually see the situation for what it is. And she goes, "You don't know who I am. I don't even know who I am." And I started laughing out loud because it was just so abrupt and so out of nowhere that I assumed it was supposed to be funny. Like, I assumed that was a joke when she said that. When she said, "I don't even know who I am." And she's like screaming at the camera. I assumed that was a joke. And I laughed out loud. It was the hardest I laughed the whole film. But I don't think it was a joke because the whole scene was played very serious in a very vacant-looking grass field next to a house. It was very bland set design throughout the whole film. That's why I thought the film was a little boring and by the numbers, because all the sets are just so uninteresting. There's nothing good to look at. Even when they're in the alien city at the beginning of the movie, it's just a bunch of flat surfaces and gray textures. It just looks horrendous. It looks boring. There's nothing interesting going on camera. The only interesting visual thing that happens in the movie is when the explosion happens on the engine and she gets her powers. That's the only, slightly visually interesting thing that happens, and nothing else in the movie compares to that. It never looks that good again. The CG in the final battle looks horrendous. And when she's falling backwards towards the planet, she opens her eyes and she gets her, flight abilities. But we don't see her, her first flight, right? It just cuts away at her opening her eyes as she's falling. But what looked the worst in that scene was the stupid CGI mask on her face. Why did she even need that? If you were just going to put this ridiculous CGI mask on her, why not just take the mask off of her and just have some CGI hair if you want to get the hair movements right, It just felt so unreal. I felt like I wasn't even watching a character. I felt like I was watching a computer-generated image. And that's pretty much what it was. 99% of the image was computer-generated. And, just a lot of boring stuff in the film. It was under 2 hours, so that's another reason why it made a lot of money. They could show this film a lot. They could repeat showings every 30 minutes in the theaters on the most amount of screens possible. Of course this movie is going to make money. It should have been more obvious, because when I look at what movies are playing in my theater, there really is nothing playing besides Captain Marvel. Alita's not playing at my theater anymore. Last time I saw it in theaters, that was the last week it was in theaters in my area. There's literally nothing else to watch until Shazam and Pet Sematary come out, which both come out on the same day, I think 2 weeks from now. But anyway, I don't like the movie. I don't like Captain Marvel. I'm never going to watch this film again. I'm so glad I BitTorrented it and I watched it the way I did, because there's no way I'm ever going to spend money on this movie ever. I'm never going to own this movie. I'm never going to rewatch it. There's nothing interesting about it. There's nothing deep about the movie. It's all surface level dribble. But what more can you expect from an MCU film? I was expecting the movie to be bland and mediocre, but I didn't expect it to be this bland and mediocre that I thought Green Lantern was better. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting to want to watch Green Lantern the extended cut after seeing this Captain Marvel movie. I don't know why, but I have a major urge to do that now. And watch Black Panther, by the way. I am going to watch Black Panther. I will do a review on that, because I'm having a hard time believing that Black Panther is nearly this bad. This is some bland stuff. Studio-made film that has nothing interesting to say. But yeah, that's it for now. Comment below. Let me know what you thought of Captain Marvel. Did you see it in theaters? And why did you see it in theaters is my second question to that first question. And third question, did you BitTorrent it? Let us know. If you liked what I had to say and you agreed with me, then I'm Lantern2814. If you didn't like what I had to say, then I'm John Campea. So that's it for now. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.